Out of every winter comes spring. That familiar warmth reminding us baseball is back. It is a fresh start. Hope renewed. Another chance. It is a new season with infinite possibilities. The wait is over. Spring has sprung.
What a sight it is. Downtown Phoenix, spring training baseball in the Cactus League. And it is a gorgeous day here in Phoenix. Friday afternoon for baseball at 51st Avenue at Indian School. We're at Maryville Baseball Park. It's the Dodgers and the Brew Crew. And hi, everybody. We welcome you to our first telecast of the year. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Very cool hat glasses combo this year.
Gotta have, you got to be sun smart. And then after you wear the hat down on the field, you got that to deal with. Nice. So the hat stays on.
You're looking handsome, man, and we're looking forward to our 9th year together. And the Brew Crew coming back after a disappointing finish last year. And spring hopes there's going to be a lot of energy in this ballpark this year, and they're hoping to make another run at a Central Division title.
And pretty much the same group of guys, but is this not the best time of the baseball season? I mean, really, you get on the plane in Milwaukee, it's 10 degrees. You get off, it's 80. Beautiful weather here, and this is why the Brewers have spring training in Arizona. Just gorgeous. The guys are getting to know each other again. Pats on the backs. Everybody wondering what you had, if you had a good off season. So this, in my mind, is the best part of the baseball season.
And we're going to get to see some big names here today. And on the mound today is Matt Garza. So Loesch pitched yesterday against the Angels. Matt Garza, his first spring training start.
Turned out to be a good season for Garza. Kind of up and down year, but run support a bit of a problem for him. But coming in healthy, like just about every one of the Brewers, the starting rotation looking very good. The 5 guys are pretty much set. Garza looking to go about 30 pitches today.
His second year with the Brew Crew, Garza gets the ball against the Dodgers. Former Dodger manager Ron Roenicke out throwing a little BP earlier today. Some of the stars are out. Gomez is in the lineup. The kid is here, Robin Yount. Dodgers have Yasiel Puig in their lineup. We've got spring training baseball coming up from the Cactus League right after this.
What beers?
Ready for a little fun in the sun today in the Cactus League, and we're ready for baseball as Matt Garza ready to tow it up against the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the first pitch is a swing and a miss. Kike Hernandez at the plate for Los Angeles, and away we go today in the Cactus League. And it is the Brewers spring training home opener at Maryville Baseball Park. Dodgers are in a split squad today. The other half of their team at home against Seattle. But Rockets, Matt Garza, and 27 starts last year. I think you'd call it a decent season. He's hoping for a great season in year 2 as a Brewer.
Yeah, once again, an earned run average under 4. Garza threw the ball very well. That record could have been a lot better if he had A little more run support from time to time, but Garza coming into camp in great shape, as we mentioned on our broadcast open. The starting rotation pretty much set, unless there's going to be something happen throughout spring. But Garza looking to have another solid season.
Well, Kyle Loesch yesterday pitched across a couple of innings against the Angels, and he got off to a very good start. The Brewers have Garza slotted in number 2 right now. You don't hear the rotation from Ron Roenicke yet. He's not ready to announce who his opening day starter will be and his 5, but you know who the 5 are, and you get a good idea of the way they're pitching to start spring training, how they're going to end up during the season. There's a hot ground ball over to third base. Aramis Ramirez makes the play, and that's how the day begins for Garza and the Brew Crew. All right, Rock, take a look at the Los Angeles Dodger lineup brought to you by Potawatomi. You just saw Hernandez. A.J. Ellis, the Racine resident, he bats second. Yasiel Puig hits third. Then it's Turner, Van Slyke, and Jock Peterson. Guerrero, Jensen, and Barney rounding out the traveling 9 of the Los Angeles Dodgers today, managed by Don Mattingly. And Mattingly and his big league staff are on the road here today, leaving the other guys back at their home ballpark at the ranch.
And pretty much a new look Dodgers. To say that was a facelift for Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Dodgers, would be an understatement. Other guys gone. They brought in some new players, new management at the top, and they're looking like a completely different ball club going into the season.
A familiar face, and A.J. Ellis bounces to Ramirez. A couple of ground outs for Matt Garza. 2 5-3 putouts. How about the Brew Crew defensively today, Rock?
Yeah, top 5 in the lineup pretty much starters. You got Scooter, you got Gene Segura, Carlos Gomez, Ramirez, and Davis. You got Gerardo Parra, the designated hitter today. Matt Clark, who had some pretty good at-bats for the Brewers at the end of the season last year. Shane Peterson in right. And Martin Maldonado, fresh off signing a 2-year contract behind home plate.
Well, Jonathan Lucroy still banged up. Now with that hamstring injury, as you see Yasiel Puig with 2 away. We hope to hear from Lucroy today. We're going to try to interview Matt Garza when his day is done. We've arranged an interview with Ron Roenicke, the skipper. Lucroy said he'd join us at some point. That's the fun of spring training baseball. Have a chance to put a headset on the guys down in the dugout and hear what they have to say.
Man, in the meantime, looks like Garza's got some pretty good stuff right out of the gates. First time out, first inning. Looks like he's got some zip on that baseball. Threw a pretty good slider right there by Puig.
Now one of the premier players in the big leagues, Yasiel Puig. Trying to make it a MVP campaign in Los Angeles. They're hoping Puig can emerge as an MVP caliber candidate this season. It'll be his 3rd year in the major leagues. 16 home runs last year. Despite his big name, still gets the traveling duty in the split squad scenario.
Hey, you got to bring a couple of them over to the visiting ballpark, right? Well, they say you have to have 3 of your starters in the lineup in every one of the Cactus League games. I think some teams stretch that a bit. But Puig's the guy today for Los Angeles.
He fouls back a 3-1 offering. Count goes full, 3-2. Wait. Now the Dodgers rebuilding, revamping, but hoping to be at the top of the division. They feel like they have the club to do it. Just great pitching. Clayton Kershaw pitched yesterday. He was lights out. Zach Greinke, Hyun-Jin Ryu is a little bit delayed as that one just missed, and Puig draws the 2-out walk. Word is on the Dodgers starters, Greinke and Ryu, that they're going to be back next week. I know Greinke threw today, I believe, or maybe it was yesterday on the side, so they're hoping to get back to full strength.
Should be an interesting race in the West. I mean, the Padres, look at what they did in the offseason. May be very well the most improved team in all of baseball from this year to, or from last year to this year. And going to have to figure out a way to unseed the world champs, the Giants.
Yeah, 3 World Series titles in the last 5 years. Turner drives one into right field. Peterson fighting the wind, which is significant today. Makes a nice catch to end the inning. Shane Peterson in his Brewers home debut. Top of the first in the books. Garza with a scoreless inning. Nice play in right field to get us going. We got Jeanette, Segura, Gomez to lead the way. There's the skipper, Ron Roenicke. Started his tenure as Brewers manager in 2011, the year the Brewers won the division title. His right-hand man, Jerry Narron, the bench coach. And here we go to the bottom of the first. Potawatomi lineups for the Brewers. Bring your night to life. You got Jeanette, Segura, and Gomez, Ramirez, Chris Davis, Gerardo Parra in the middle, Matt Clark, Shane Peterson, Martin Maldonado at the bottom of the order. And yes, using the designated hitter today, even though you have two National League ball clubs. Scooter Gennett leads off for the Brewers. Zach Lee on the mound for the Dodgers. Going to see a number of their younger prospect pitchers. This is a former first-rounder on the mound here today, Rock, and the right-hander, Zach Lee.
Yes, you can see his numbers in AAA. That was in Albuquerque, a hitter's league, that PCL. You can see that high earned run average, a non-roster invite to spring training for the Dodgers. 23 years old. Big kid, 6'4", 210 pounds.
Dodgers go scoreless in the top of the first. A couple of ground outs for Garza. And a nice play by Peterson in right as Jeanette beats one into the ground. That's Darwin Barney, the former Cub, who makes a play for out number one. And Rock, the Dodger defense brought to you by Marshfield Clinic.
They got Van Slyke, Peterson, and Puig from left to right. Guerrero, Hernandez. Jimmy Rollins will be the shortstop for the Dodgers when they start the season. Darwin Barney at second. Jensen and A.J. Ellis behind home plate.
Here's Gene Segura with one away. The Keystone combo in the lineup once again today. Segura and Jeanette. Renewed focus for Segura. Tough year last year. And not only on the field, and he struggled mightily. One led to the next, but just a tragic year off the field as well. The passing of his young son, and a year that he would like to forget. Gene Segura. Well, he looks good.
Yeah, he looks like he's put on some weight. He's, I guess, maturing. You know, young kid, came up to the big leagues, and a lot of pressure for guys like Segura and Scooter Gennett out there every day. No Ricky Weeks this year, so it's going to be the two young kids up the middle, for the Brewers defensively. And it looks as though probably, as things might turn out at the top of the order, we'll see where Segura ends up. That's one thing Ron Roenicke is looking to do this spring. Not too many mysteries over the starting lineup, but what's his batting order going to look like?
And Segura vowed to be more patient at the plate this year. Draws a walk, first base runner for Milwaukee. And a speedy runner at that for Carlos Gomez. Now, Gomez always a fan favorite. back-to-back all-star teams, and last year an all-star starter for the first time in his career. 23 homers last year. He drove in 73. Always gives you great defense as well. Jim Joyce barks out that strike call on Gomez.
Yeah, talked to Carlos around the batting cage today, asked him what he did all winter, and he said, well, not a whole lot, just kind of hung out. Can you imagine what hanging out means for Carlos Gomez?
It doesn't seem like a guy that enjoys much downtime.
He's
right?
not going to sit on the couch watching TV too much, I don't think. There's a balk.
There's going to be a balk, so Jim Joyce spring it out from behind home plate. Saw it immediately. Segura will take second base. I would imagine there's a little bit of nerves flowing here. You got a young pitcher, and he's in camp. Try to make an impression, but
and there it was, a little flinch before he stepped off.
Gomez flashes one foul in the seats.
Getting an opportunity to make a start in big league spring training. Mentioned that Lee, young kid, spent the year in AAA last year or 2 years ago. He's kind of made the progression. Rookie ball all the way up to Cal League, the Chattanooga, in AA, and made the progression. So feels as though he's got a shot. Non-roster invite.
Well, we're going to get a chance to see the depth of the Los Angeles Dodgers minor league system today. Remember, they're in a split squad, first of all. So you're going to, if you're a fan of prospects, you're going to get to see a few here today. You're tracking the Dodgers. A little breaking ball misses. Down and away. Gomez in a 2-2 count with Segura at second. We're just underway. Bottom of the first inning from Maryville. Our first home spring training game and our first telecast on Fox Sports Wisconsin. It's a snap throw to second, and Barney, I think he took that one right in the chest. Might have had a play at Segura if he makes the catch.
He tried that snap tag, catch it and tag it out at the same time, and might have cost him.
It's a former Gold Glover there, Darwin Barney. Yeah, that was going to be a close play at second base. 2-2 to Gomez. Fights it off foul. It was a windy day here today. It's beautiful. Not a cloud in the sky. Beautiful blue sky up above. Sun is shining brightly, but there is some wind, and it's a little bit of an unusual wind here at Maryville. Typically, you see the wind blow out. This is more of a northeast wind. And Gomez pulls one foul.
We were down in the lunchroom before the ball game, and some of the writers were complaining about the wind, and I said, "You gotta be kidding." I mean, it's 80 degrees, a little bit of wind, and you're going to complain about that. It's gorgeous down here, and it's expected to get next week about 87 degrees here in Arizona. Goodness.
Quite a change from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We're glad to be able to give you a little taste of it. Bouncing ball to short. Hernandez will make the play and retire Gomez. Segura does advance to third base. 2 outs in the inning. Runner at third for Aramis Ramirez.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, not overpowering. He throws in the low 90s, but he has a lot of different weapons at his disposal. A curveball, a cutter, a slider, changeup, so he mixes it up pretty well. But he's not going to throw the ball by you too often.
Now Ramirez entering his final spring training and swinging away at the first pitch. Deep left field. Back is Van Slyke fighting the sun. He makes the catch. And the side is retired. The Brewers strand a runner at third. Scoreless first inning. We're off and running on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Great to have you with us. Well, hanging out on the berm, that's one of the great spots to watch a spring training game. And if you're going real good, you can just start rolling down that hill. That happens for young and old.
Well, that's later on in the game a little bit.
What a great day. 75 degrees here in Phoenix, Arizona. You know, technically the Brewers are the only team that trains in Phoenix proper.
Right.
Now that the A's are in Mesa. But you got 15 teams here in the Phoenix area.
Breaking out your good stuff first game.
Yeah, you know, I did a little preps. A lot of prep coming into this.
Never thought about that, but you're right.
Matt Garza ready to start his second inning of work. Worked a scoreless first with a couple of ground outs. He did issue a walk to Yasiel Puig. And this is Scott Van Slyke leading off for the Dodgers. Three-man umpiring crew today, by the way, as these guys get their season started as well. One of our favorite strike callers behind home plate, Jim Joyce. He'll be singing it out loud today.
Yeah, he's been out a long time, Jim Joyce, crew chief. Once the regular season starts.
And Slyke sends that one to center field. Gomez immediately up with the glove, shading his eyes, and it pops out on his glove.
You got the high sky, the sun, you've got the wind, and that's one that has got to be caught. They say you play the outfield in Arizona, you can play it anywhere, and this is about as routine as it gets. In and out of the glove.
Yeah, a Gold Glove center fielder out there, dropping that one. The way it goes in spring training, that was a bit of a surprise.
And the high sky, no clouds, and sometimes your depth perception can be thrown off, particularly when the sun's in your face and you have those glasses on.
There's a strike to Jock Peterson. Big spring training for Jock Peterson. He is battling for that center field job this year, and he is some kind of prospect for the Dodgers. They have a very talented, veteran-laden lineup. Even with their changes, they've got star power throughout their lineup, and then Jock Peterson comes up as one of their top prospects. What a year he had last year in AAA, and he rips one to center field. That's down, a base hit. Van Slyke will come in to score, and Jock Peterson, an RBI single to give the Dodgers the early lead.
Yeah, Peterson, that sweet stroke. He's got the straight up batting style with the feet close together and just kind of lifts his leg up and has good balance at the point of contact. Hit 33 home runs last year and hit 300 in Albuquerque in AAA.
There's been a lot of discussion. Jock Peterson versus Andre Ethier in that crowded Dodgers outfield. Got an entire month to figure it out. The Dodgers do. Peterson looks like a big-time player, though. First ball swinging is Alex Guerrero, and he lines one into left center. Peterson on his way to third, and the throw comes to second. So it's back-to-back singles, Peterson and Guerrero.
Yeah, they hit the fastball. I'll tell you, Guerrero turned on that one. Really similar to the way Peterson got his base hit. Check this out, right down the middle of the plate. And as is usual in spring training, the one thing that you struggle with a little bit is your location. It's like Garza's got good stuff on the baseball, but that one right down the middle.
And you see a lot of fastballs this first time through from starting pitchers as they get their Cactus League schedule started. All right, nobody out, but an error in this inning that led to a run. First and third. Kyle Jensen takes a strike.
When you think about it, the fastball is what these hitters have been seeing pretty much all winter in spring training, and if you're able to flip up a curveball or something off speed for a strike, you're going to be okay. Rely on the fastball, even during spring training, you're in trouble out there.
Jensen chases one. Big swing and a miss.
Another off-speed pitch. Yeah, with Garza, it's pretty much fastball slider. Throw a curveball from time to time and a change-up, but most of the time when he's in trouble, he's going to be using those two pitches, the fastball and the slider.
Ron Roenicke's got the neck protected. And Jerry Nairn, I like that. Those are actually stitched in the hat. Looking forward to catching up with the skipper. Check his pulse on spring training, what you call maybe phase 2. A little tapper in front of the plate. Maldonado throws it away. Wild throw. It would have been better served to just eat that one. Another run is in. Another error by the Brewers. Probably go as a hit and an error. And it will be an infield single. So 3 consecutive hits. 2-0 Dodgers. And it'll be second and third here with nobody out.
All started with that error in center field, the routine fly ball by Van Slyke. He ended up at second base, and there's still nobody out in this second inning. And Maldonado got out there, but never did take a look at first base. He threw the ball before he even saw where first was, and airmailed it right into the seats.
It's just one of those plays you might see in spring training. You'd probably never see him attempt that in a regular season game. Test the parameters, no? See what you have. As Garza misses inside to Darwin Barney. Matchup of former Cubs here. And he lines one to second, right at Jeanette for out number 1. Barney hit it sharply. That Scooter there to make the play, and the first out of the inning.
It's going to be Scooter Jeanette's job at second base. Question is how well is he going to do against left-handed pitching? No Ricky Weeks to back him up against lefties. I know Ron Roenicke, I think if he had his druthers and Jeanette's able to do a pretty good job, at least getting on base against lefties, he'd like him at the top of the order.
And Jeanette's been in that role quite often in his career. There's a strike from Garza. Dodgers are at the top of their lineup again. Kike Hernandez at the plate. And Jeanette hit the lead off all throughout his amateur career and throughout most of his minor league career as well. He's comfortable in that role. Question is the left-handers, number 1, and then the on-base percentage, number 2.
Yeah, throughout his minor league career, Scooter did a pretty good job against lefties. On-base percentage was pretty good. He was able to get his hits. He's able to do that. You might see him in a leadoff spot and have Gomez more in an RBI spot in that batting order.
Well, you got to give Scooter Jeanette and Ricky Weeks a lot of credit last year. Could have been an awkward situation for both of those individuals as they shared time. As Garza, sinker right past the swinging Hernandez for the second out. That's Garza's first strikeout.
And that ball, that pitch looked like it had a lot of the plate, but just took a little off of it, a little bit of a wrinkle right at the end, and Hernandez out in front.
Oh, what was that, a little cutter maybe?
A little cutter, a little slider that kind of spun up there a little bit.
So 2 men are out, second and third, and here is A.J. Ellis. Dodgers up 2-0. Ellis on the first pitch. Deep into left center field. Well hit. That ball is back and gone. A.J. Ellis goes deep. A 3-run homer. Jumping on the first pitch from Garza. Nothing Los Angeles. So that opening error starting this inning, and these Dodgers come out hacking at the first pitch quite often.
Yeah, short stroke, ball down in the strike zone. That ball just got launched out of here into left center.
Took a man down with him.
Yeah. A.J. Ellis going to be pushed a little bit. Yasmani Grandal brought over from the Padres, and we'll see how much playing time both of those two guys are going to get.
Now you figure A.J. Ellis, as Puig fouls one back, is going to get. He's at least going to be on the field when Kershaw's on the mound, you would figure, the way those two have teamed up in the past. And Kershaw coming off Cy Young and an MVP year. Puig, a little half swing. He goes, unable to check it, and it's 0-2. Yasiel Puig. 2 errors in the inning. 3 singles and a home run. 5 runs in for Los Angeles. Now Puig walked his first time up. Dodgers trading away D. Gordon, Matt Kemp, Hanley Ramirez. A lot of big bats out of their lineup this year. But they're counting on guys like Puig and a number of changes that they made to pick up the slack. They've got Jimmy Rollins playing shortstop, coming over from the Phillies.
Howie Kendrick.
Adrian Gonzalez will hit right in the middle of that order. He and Puig. Their lineup probably going to be something like Rollins, Carl Crawford. You'll have Puig in the 3 spot, I would guess. Adrian Gonzalez, Howie Kendrick, and then that battle with A.J. Ellis and Yasmani Grandal. I think Grandal is going to get his chance. He's an offensive catcher.
Not often a team like the Dodgers, I mean, gets into the postseason, had a tough run in the first round, but a complete remake of the whole entire team, pretty much, except for that starting rotation.
And Puig lines one foul and out of play. Well, that goes for their leadership as well. They have a new president, Andrew Friedman, coming from the Tampa Bay Rays, and it was Friedman's change leaving Tampa to come to Los Angeles that opened the door in the contract for Joe Maddon to get out of his deal with the Rays. And of course, he is now with the Chicago Cubs. Little jam shot, shallow right field. That'll fall, a base hit. Puig on his way to second. Now he stops. Segura cuts it, fires to first. Maldonado is there for the out. How about the Brewers catcher hustling to back up the bag, and Puig is toast. Heck of a play to get the final out. A 5-run inning, but something good to talk about there. A single goes 4-6-2 at first base for the final out of the inning.
With the 5-run second inning, lead it 5-0, and Brewers single game tickets are on sale now. Reserve your spot at Miller Park for all the season's biggest games
including 20 all-fan giveaways, 3 post-game concerts, and weekend series against the Cubs, Cardinals, and Twins. Call 414-902-4000 or go to Brewers.com today.
Man, nailed it. First promo of the year. Well done.
Yeah, I read it. Before we came onto the air. I didn't want to mess it up.
Chris Davis leads off for the Brewers, and we welcome Jonathan Lucroy, all-star catcher, and a little banged up right now. Luke, how's the hamstring coming along this early in spring?
Hey, guys. It's doing pretty good. Doing real good. Just a run today. I've been running the past few days. A little resistance on me, so feeling pretty good. I'm really optimistic about getting out there sooner rather than later.
So I saw you participate in all the drills, and I mean, you're doing a lot of baseball activities. You were throwing today. What can't you do, I guess?
Sprint.
That's it. That's the only thing.
I couldn't really sprint to begin with, so it's all good.
That's not your game, Jonathan.
Nah. I gotta just get cut down on my bags. Instead of 4 last year, I might have to get a couple less. So we'll see.
Yeah, tremendous season last year, Luke. Both at the plate, behind home plate. What are the kind of things you thought about? Maybe looking toward this year, or things that you want to improve upon?
Everything. Everything. I'm one of those guys. I always feel like I can do better. I always feel like I can improve on everything. I'm not content with anything. So, there's nothing I'm really specific I want to point at because I want to get better at everything. So, basically everything. I guess you can put it that way.
Looks like the starting rotation, it was so good last year, pretty much set, except if there's any unforeseen problems. But talk about some of the guys in that rotation and how you feel that rotation is going to be this year.
I'm really happy that we got the guys we have. I mean, we have some really good talent out there. We got guys like, Kyle Loesch coming back, Matt Garza's on the mound, Willie Peralta fires, of course, Jimmy Nelson coming in since Giovanni got traded. So, we got a pretty good, strong rotation, I believe, and, I think we got the talent to win out there on the mound. So if we can just stay healthy, I think that's a key.
And the addition of Francisco Rodriguez as he comes back to Milwaukee, a 5th trip for Rodriguez. He's not in camp yet, but what did that mean to get a closer in place in Rodriguez at this point?
Right, yeah, he, having a guy of that caliber out there is obviously important, and, you got to have that confidence going into the 9th inning that you're going to shut that down. That's a good swing right there.
And Parra out into center field for Jock Peterson.
Yeah, wind's coming in center.
Hey, Jonathan, we want you to do a little analysis for us here. We saw that play at the end of the inning with Maldonado backing up after the little flare single by Puig. Talk us through that from a catcher's perspective.
Well, you got nobody else on base, so whenever you have a situation where you have a weak fly ball to right, kind of in that no man's land right there, as a catcher, you got to come in right here because the first baseman is going to vacate first, second baseman is going to get out, so there's no one over here to cover, and obviously you don't want the pitcher in there because those guys traditionally don't handle the ball too well. So, we get in there and back it up, and in case something happens like that, that was a perfect situation. So Molly did a really good job right there.
And you got 2 catchers here. Have you guys ever had an out at first base like that? You're always backing up, but very rarely.
You do it 1,000 times, and you probably never do it except for maybe once. But that's a rarity. I mean,
that doesn't happen very often. It doesn't happen very often. But you always want to be prepared for everything. That's why it's got to go full effort, max effort, and stay locked in the entire time because you never know when you get an out like that.
It's like a ground ball. You back up 1,000,000 times a year, and that one time you don't do it, and the ball trickles into the dugout.
You end up paying for it. Yeah, that's why you got to go full blast and everything, and so you be ready for everything.
Yeah, has the skipper talked to you, Luke, about how much perhaps you're going to be playing first base and catch? Or are you going in here thinking you're going to be catching every day?
No, I'm assuming that I'm going to go in there and catch majority of the time. And that's where my strength is. That's where I'm most valuable, that I believe. And first baseman obviously is important too. Just getting in there against those left-handed pitchers. So I think I can cover it and help out there in both ways.
Brad Clark strikes out. That ends the inning. 1, 2, 3. Luke, great to catch up with you. Continued good health. Hopefully get you back on the field in short term here.
I'll be out there soon. Thanks, guys.
In the second inning, 4 of those were unearned runs off Matt Garza. 5-0 as we head to the third. Don't forget, tonight on Fox Sports Live, they've got all the news from the world of sports, including highlights of a full day in the NBA and the NHL. Fox Sports Live tonight on Fox Sports 1, also streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Maryville Baseball Park, home of the Brewers. Second pitcher on the mound for the Brew Crew. This is Tyler Cravey, the long-haired right-hander, 25-year-old Californian, getting his chance on the big mound.
Yeah, 3 different levels in the Brewer organization last year, included Nashville and Huntsville. A big, tall right-hander. You can see 195 pounds and a menacing look out there on the mound.
Good locks, man.
Trying to come up with the right term to use. But he's a sinker baller, not a hard thrower.
First pitch, a little breaking ball down and away. Well, Matt Garza kind enough to put a headset on as we watch Cravey pitch. And Matt, thanks for jumping on with us right after your outing today, and got a little squirrely defensively in that second inning of yours. But how do you feel like things went for you today?
All right, knocking off the rest. Felt the timing was off quite a bit, a couple of pitches, but I'm incorporating a whole different type of preparation this year, incorporating more breaking balls earlier than later, unlike last year. Trying to get it all together, and it was all right. Some balls got away, a lot of spots were missed, but walked away healthy. That's always positive.
Yeah, Matt, another solid season for a year ago. 8-8 record, but again, that earned run average at about 3.7. Could have gone a lot better with the record, some run support. How did you feel like your season went for you last year?
Roller coaster. It was. I had a terrible first 2 months, and I just snapped. And the next 2 were really good, and then I missed August, and thought I finished off pretty strong. But I want to put I want to put about 6 straight months together this year. That's kind of the plan. It was a plan all offseason, just train to stay healthy, and cut a lot of stuff out of my old routine, and cleaned a lot of stuff up. So I'm pretty excited about rolling to this year.
I want to talk about the robes. I mean, you got a lot of press all over the internet and the news. The starting pitcher robes, how'd you come up with that idea?
It was actually done by a buddy of mine, Johnny Gomes. He did it for my team back in 2008 with the Rays, and I just thought it'd be a cool thing. We call our day before it starts our spa day, because we're not really lifting or anything. So, I thought it'd be funny for all the guys to walk around in their robes on day 4, and sure enough, it's drawn a bunch of chuckles in the clubhouse, but I got some pretty upset teammates, so gonna kind of maybe get a couple more for the season.
They want some robes, huh?
Yeah,
you feel left out?
Yeah, the broadcasters are kind of in on that upset.
Right, yeah.
We'd like a few.
We'll see what happens. We got to get through this month first, and see who we take north.
You set the bar high for every. I guess maybe you can explain it better, but in that clubhouse, so everybody has their own pocket that they stick with, the starting pitchers, relievers, catchers, so everybody's got their leadership. You've set the bar high for the rest of those guys.
I think we're the ones dealing with the youngest group, though. The catchers, it's Maldi and Luke, and the bullpen. I doubt we're going to have anybody without any time this year, and the outfield is couple led by a lot of veterans, so the rotation, we got 3 young guys, and Willie, Jimmy, and Fire. So I think it's kind of good to step up early, and so these younger guys can relax and kind of laugh it off and get comfortable, and pitch to their top.
How much of an advantage, if any, Matt, is the fact that a lot of the guys from last year are coming back, particularly the starting rotation? Is that an advantage going into spring training this year?
Yeah, it's really good in the getting comfortable. Like kids getting acquainted. There's no more new kids. Mm-hmm. It's like going back to 5th grade or going back to your senior year of high school. You know everybody now, so it's no more getting used to anybody. Everybody knows everybody, and let's pick up where we left off.
And how about for you? I would imagine, you sign a 4-year deal with the Brewers. Last year is your first year. You had been bounced around a little bit. The Cubs, the Rangers, and then the Brewers. So you were basically with 3 teams in 2 seasons, and now you get to settle in a little bit. Has that changed your perspective? Do you feel more settled in year 2?
Oh yeah, I'm a lot more comfortable. You know, a lot of stress was lifted off my shoulders when I signed this deal. So I'm you know, extremely comfortable, but not to the point where I'm content. I'm, you know, still passionate, still fiery, and I still want to get to October, you know, and show what we can do, and try to bring a championship back to the city of Milwaukee.
I heard you mention you had, I don't know if you call it a renewed focus, or there was just something that lit inside you this offseason. What was that? What was that all about for you?
Just a burning flame, you know. It's
that ball's deep, and Guerrero sends one out of here, and a 2-run home run. Alex Guerrero and Jock Peterson with 4 hits today, and makes it 7-0. Sorry, Matt, continue on your off-season awakening.
Just, you know, the desire to be back in the playoffs. You know, I said it for years and years. I want to play in October, and you know, I let myself fall into a trap, and I kind of put that cover on that fire a little bit, kind of dimmed. And last year, when we ended, I was really salty, really upset and disappointed. And you know, it's like someone threw gas on that fire and just sparked up. You know, I'm hungry.
Seems like you're not the only one that feels that way. I mean, we've only been here a couple of days, but it seems like the entire team has that attitude where you feel like you have something to prove. And last year's end of the season was kind of the aberration. You want to prove everybody wrong.
Yeah, we want to show it was a fluke. We don't, you know, it was one of those ball bounces, the bad ball bounces for us, and it was you know, it's a learning experience, and maybe that's what we needed. Maybe some of us needed that awakening or reawakening, and try to get that, like I said, that fire back. And you know, you know, like I said, I'm really focused this year, and I plan to stay healthy. That's, you know, my #1 goal this year.
Matt, it's great to visit with you. 2 innings today, 39 pitches. We got you for 27 strikes, so it looks like you had decent command, and now you're off and running. We wish you the best this spring. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Thanks for having me, bud.
That's Matt Garza, and always good to get his perspective. You know, one thing about Matt, I love his edge, and it rubs people the wrong way a lot, especially the opponents, which is not a bad thing.
Who cares about that, right?
But he's got, you know, that was really an interesting conversation about his offseason and where the end of last season left him. Just talking to Kyle Loesch and Matt Garza a little bit, you could tell those two guys, they've kind of got control of that starting rotation as far as the clubhouse goes, and you like a little bit of that edge with Garza. I think he's poised to have a good year if he stays healthy.
Yeah, I think he and Loesch, I mean, really know how to handle themselves amongst his team. And you know, it's one thing, you know, to be focused and really dialed in, you know, during the game. But then there's always that time where you have to have guys like Kyle and Matt that are going to lighten things up a little bit and have some fun, because you can't keep that intensity and that focus for 6 months, 24 hours a day. And I think they provide a good balance with that.
Cravey got off to a great start. 2 quick outs, including a strikeout, but 3 consecutive hits. Jock Peterson doubled. Guerrero hit a 2-run homer. And Kyle Jensen just singled to right center. So here's Darwin Barney with 2 away. 7-0 Dodgers. This one not going the Brewers' way early. Count remains at 3-2 here.
It's a nice thing about spring training, right? You can enjoy the game of baseball and not worry about the score. That's basically what you have. Guys just playing and, you know, getting in shape. You got some young kids in a little bit different situation. But really, when you think about it, at least early in spring training, the score is pretty much immaterial.
As a ground ball is going to sneak through for a base hit. So the 4th consecutive hit. Jensen goes to third base. The bottom of this Dodgers order doing a lot of damage here today. 6 through 9. Just 2 times to the batting order, now with 7 hits already. Barney's 1 out of 2. First and third with 2 outs. Back to the top of the order, and Kike Hernandez. Tyler Cravey. And a first ball swinger is Hernandez. He fouls it away. Hernandez 0 for 2, ground out and a strikeout. Both of those at-bats against Garza. Garza had 8 out of 12 first pitch strikes today. That's always a good sign. Your first spring training outing.
They just made some mistakes with some fastballs that got a little bit too much of the plate. But I guess at this point in spring training, you're just trying to feel comfortable out there in the mound, get the arm to a level where you can increase your pitch count each time. You'd rather throw strikes down the middle than walking batters at this point. And the strikes on the corners will come. But the Dodgers are getting some pretty good hacks out here today. Very aggressive, particularly as you mentioned at the bottom of the order. Well, 8 of the 9 hits from the bottom of the order for Los Angeles.
And Peterson and Guerrero, who hit 6th and 7th, you could say those are 2 guys who probably have the most to gain this spring. A couple of guys that are trying to play their way onto the major league roster. Peterson 2 for 2. He scored twice. Guerrero 2 for 2. 2-run homer. He scored twice. Cravey trying to get through this third. 2 outs. Dodgers have him at the corners. Hernandez swings and fouls it back. Brewers have some activity in their bullpen. Ball and 2 strikes. And Hernandez spoils another one. Cravey last year had to deal with some injuries. Had an oblique injury in late June. And those are tough to come back from. And because he missed some starts last year, all combined through the minor leagues last year, he pitched in just 17 games. You'd like a minor league pitcher to be somewhere in the 23 to 27 games pitched if he's a starting pitcher. Bouncing ball foul past third. Last year was the first year in Cravey's career as a Brewer farmhand where he was exclusively a starter. He had been kind of back and forth between the bullpen and the starting rotation. Pitched out of the bullpen exclusively in his A-ball year in Wisconsin when he was up in Appleton in 2012, and then started to get a few starts in 13, and then exclusively a starter last year. On the ground to Ramirez. Hernandez finally retired. The Dodgers get a pair and add to their lead now 7-0. Alex Guerrero, 17 homers in the minor leagues last year. He bangs a 2-run shot here this afternoon.
You know,
Hey, with the Fans Choice 10-pack, you can pick the 10 games you want to attend this season, plus get opening day as your free 11th game, all starting at just $16 per ticket. To start building your Fans Choice 10-pack, call 414-902-HITS. Visit Brewers.com/10packs.
Back at Maryville Baseball Park. And we head to the bottom of the third inning. The Brewers are coming up and going to face a very talented left-hander. This is the #1 prospect in the Dodgers system, Julio Urias.
Yeah, they say he does have a big arm. And when you're left-handed, you can throw like he can. You're going to get a lot of opportunities. Number 78, he's not going to have 78 very long.
18 years of age.
Amazing.
Julio Urias. Shane Peterson will lead off. Brewers are at the bottom of their order. Peterson, Maldonado, and then back to the top and Scooter Gennett. So a couple of left-handers in there. Peterson made a nice diving catch in the first inning today, robbing Justin Turner of a hit. Peterson is in the battle for that 5th outfield position. Brewers are pretty well set with their top 4 outfielders. There are a lot of big league teams that only carry 4 outfielders. As of right now, the Brewers plan on carrying 5. A lot could change from now until opening day, but Peterson, Logan Schaefer among those that are in the mix. Today Peterson getting his chance in the lineup. The young lefty Urias delivers and it's fouled away. Boy, that fastball is on you in a hurry.
Yeah, 93 to 97 4-seam fastball. Has a curveball to go with it. Well, 2-seamer, change up. Signed a pro contract out of Mexico at the age of 16.
Which was just a couple of years ago. Top pitching prospect here, and a swing and a miss, and that is an electric fastball from Urias. Wow. This is our first chance to see him pitch.
Pretty good delivery right on the inside corner, mid-90s with the fastball. And it's one thing to have stuff like that, but it's another thing to have the poise to be able to get out there in spring training at 18 years old and throw strikes and get outs.
Showed great command last year, Urias did, as he misses down and away to Maldonado. Martin, with his first trip to the plate, had a hustle play for an out, cutting down Yasiel Puig, rounding the bag too far at first. It was a little flare single to right. Maldonado from behind the plate backs up first base. That's how the inning ended in the second. Excellent backup catcher, Martin Maldonado.
You betcha.
Brewers are very pleased where they are with their catching situation here with Lucroy and Maldonado.
Yeah, so valuable. The Brewers signed him to a 2-year deal. So good for Martin Maldonado. The Brewers realize they have a tremendous defensive catcher in Maldonado.
Maldonado is hoping to get a little more playing time this season. Lucroy, who we visited with earlier, says he plans on playing some first base occasionally. Wants to catch mostly, but you'll see him out at first base, especially against left-handers. And Maldonado showing a good eye, draws the walk, and the Brewers with a base runner here in the third.
Brewers acquiring Adam Lind from the Toronto Blue Jays in exchange for Marco Estrada. So depending on how Lind does against lefties, that'll determine how much playing time Lucroy gets over at first base.
And speaking of players matching up with lefties, as a story, here is Scooter Gennett. He's got a hard throwing lefty to deal with here. Now the Brewers have 3 players that have been in platoon situations or matchup situations if you're a pitcher. Neil Kotz, the left-hander that the Brewers signed, and then Gennett, who faced mostly right-handers last year, did not play against left-handers, and then Lind was kind of in a platoon with the Blue Jays as well, but Ron Roenicke said he is expecting Kotz to be a guy that can resume that role as a potential late inning reliever to face right-handers and left-handers. Is by no means a situational pitcher. And Jeanette and Lind are both going to get a chance to face left-handers early in the season. Roenicke feels like they are everyday players. And that means you're going to have to face lefties.
And they're going to get every opportunity. It's going to start in spring training. And I know the Brewers skipper is hoping that Jeanette particularly is going to be able to handle that against lefties. This is going to be a tough test for him.
We'll hear from the manager next inning. Have a chat with Ron Roenicke. I'm sure he's very curious about this at bat. And there's a big breaking ball. Jeanette waves and misses.
And Scooter's out, but Maldonado able to get into second base.
He'll advance on a wild pitch. Good base running by Maldonado, taken off with the pitch. So 2 away, runner at second. Back to the top of the order.
You can't get to first base on a strike 3 in the dirt when first base is occupied. So he's an out, and Maldonado gets into scoring position.
Second at bat for Segura. In there for a strike.
Do you remember what you were doing when you were 18?
Yeah. I was just thinking about Urias facing big league hitters and in camp here, and they're talking about, I mean, they've thrown some Clayton Kershaw comparisons on this guy at 18, which is hardly fair.
Right.
But his numbers last year jump off the page. He was at Class A Rancho Cucamonga, which is in the California League. He had a 2.36 ERA, made 20 starts, had 109 strikeouts last year, and only 37 walks last year. So 109 Ks, 37 walks in 87 innings.
Amazing. And he was the Dodgers Branch Rickey Award winner for the pitcher of the year in their organization.
He's got to be a kid that has a great amount of poise to him. They wouldn't push him at 18 years old if he didn't. The ground ball. Barney, the Gold Glover, there to make the play, and Segura is retired, and that will retire the Brewers in the third. A couple of walks for the Brewers offensively. Not much else going on. Dodgers lead it 7-0. Well, let's take a look. We're early here. 3 innings in the books. Our Cousins game summary, and the Dodgers with a couple of homers. A.J. Ellis hit a 3-run shot. Alex Guerrero with a 2-run home run. And it's 7-0 Los Angeles as we head to the fourth. Brewers making a few changes here. Seven runs, 9 hits for Los Angeles. Brewers still looking for their first hit. They've got a couple of walks. Matt Garza started, went a couple of innings. And as we head to the fourth, Getting a look at left-hander Neil Kotz. Got a new shortstop, Luis Sardinas. Hector Gomez out at second base as well. There's strike one. And joining us down by the Brewers dugout is skipper Ron Roenicke. Thanks for spending a little time with us, Ron.
Yeah, no problem.
Always good to catch up with you. And a few changes here. What's kind of your rhythm as far as players go? So Jeanette's out and Segura's out this early in the spring training scenario. When do you typically take guys out, and what's the reason behind it?
Well, depending on what's going on the next day. So Siggy and Scooter will both be playing tomorrow. And so knowing that, I want to get them out there today just to get their at-bats and a couple long innings. But it, you know, knowing that they're going to play tomorrow, I'll get him out a little earlier. Gomez is out in center. He's still there because he won't play tomorrow unless he comes in and needs the at-bats. So he'll stay out there a little longer. Ramos wanted to go 2 at-bats, so he's still there, and he'll play again tomorrow. So it's all about whether they're going to play the next day or not.
How in the world do you keep all of that straight? I mean, it seems like just an incredible amount of organization, not just for the preparation before the game. You know, you guys don't just play games. You're doing all kind of training drills, and things are different every day. How do you keep it straight, Ron?
Yeah, well, with the going through the fundamentals and everything every day, I set that up with Eddie Cedar, and he's great at that. So because he's so good at it and ahead of it, it allows me to really look at different things, which I do. A lot of it is the lineup, what guys are going to play, what days they're going to play, how much they need, which is an individual thing. Especially the veterans, I go to them and ask them what they're thinking. And Ramos knows he needs a lot of at-bats, so he's going to be out there more often. Some of the other guys don't need it as much. We get a couple weeks towards the end, and those guys will really turn it up, and we'll get them out there most of the time.
Ron, as you continue as manager with the Brewers, I mean, spring training, is it pretty much the same thing that you try and do? I mean, the schedule on a daily basis, year after year, or you change it up a little bit based on what you think you need to work on, you know, that particular day?
No, we do change it up a little bit. It's basically the same thing because over the years, the things that I've looked at that I think work, talking to the other coaches, what they think works, and we try to formulate between all of us what we think is the best way to go about it. But even though we know about what it's going to be, we still change quite a bit. So if we see something that's going on, like I did last year, there were some things at the end of the season. I told Eddie to remember in spring training we need to go over this more. Then we try to do that.
And how much of the schedule was based on maybe the disappointing end to the season, like you just talked about?
Yeah, not that really doesn't have so much to do with what we're doing now, but we know offensively we're trying to be more consistent, and we knew the first pitch swinging and the wild swinging, even though it worked early, it hurt us late. So we've tried to address that. Brought in Darnell Coles this year, who was helping out with Detroit last year, watching those great hitters, and we'd had Darnell before, knew him. And so that's part of the reason that he is here, and then trying to get more consistent in what we're doing. So the coaching staff is great. Jerry Naren's here, and he, same thing in-game management and being on top of double switches and all that frees me up to do some other things that I think are important and that I need to do. So the combination of everything hopefully works.
Now you got Neil Kotz. I mean, you got big shoes to fill. Zach Duke no longer with the ball club. Tell us about Neil Kotz and what you like about him.
Well, so far in his bullpens, he's been great. I know he's come out here and walked the first couple guys, but he's got a real good fastball. It's very sneaky. It may not register real high on the gun, but it's sneaky. The hitters don't pick it up well. And I asked some of the guys that I knew in the American League that saw him more what his stuff was like, and they said they just don't pick up his fastball well. That pitch right there that got by Maldi, that's a little cutter, which really is his bread and butter. He is really tough on right-handers, and so he cuts that ball in on him, and it's been a big pitch.
Ron, talk a little bit about the makeup of your bullpen now. It's the signing of Francisco Rodriguez, and he's reunited with you once again. He continues to re-sign with Milwaukee, this time on a 2-year deal. You guys go way back to your days with the Angels, but I realize it's early March, but this bullpen of yours looks like you have a lot of depth. And how do you kind of see things playing out towards the 9th inning?
Well, Frankie does change a lot on what we were thinking we were going to do, which was Broxton we would go with him because of the experience, but knowing that probably Jeffries and Smith would probably have to pick him up on games. And so even though I think they can do it, you're still a little bit uncertain. And because of that, now all of a sudden the 7th and 8th inning becomes innings where you're not sure exactly what you're going to do. So it allows us to put Smith and Jeffries and Kotz now and Kinsler all in the 7th, 8th inning spots where we know they're on the line. We know we need to win ball games. I can really match up a lot better now.
Neil Kotz has walked another, so 3 consecutive walks. And at what point do you start to get a little concerned here? I see Cranny is on his way out to the mound, your pitching coach.
Yeah, well, he's concerned. So Kotz is not a guy that usually does this. So first spring training game, and we always say we're not too concerned what happens the first couple of weeks in spring training, but certainly you'd like to see guys that are good and consistent all the way through. So quick little visit, make sure he's okay, and he throws a few more pitches. We better get somebody loose down in the bullpen.
See Tyler Thornburg standing up in the bullpen. Gives us a chance right here after this pitching visit to the mound. Let's talk a little bit about the lineup construction. I know you've been debating about the leadoff spot, and you've got a month to figure things out, but how do you see your lineup shaping up right now? Today, Jeanette leads off, Segura, then Gomez. When you have all your horses in there, how do you like your lineup to flow?
Yeah, it won't be that way. So we'd like the 3-4 to still be Braun and Ramirez, and as long as they're healthy, we think that's a perfect spot for them. Lucroy may fit in the second slot, knowing that he can hit anywhere in the lineup and drive in runs and get on base and basically do everything we want. Carlos and Scooter, it really depends. I like Carlos in that leadoff spot, but we know he can also hit and drive in runs. Scooter, good average, and when we had him in the leadoff spot last year, seemed to be a little more patient. So if he's going to do that, he has to be more patient, because his on base basically in the past has been because of his batting average, and you need him to get on base more than that.
Visiting with Ron Roenicke, Brewers manager. Neil Kotz in a bit of a struggle here, and there's a base hit by Scott Van Slyke. It's going to bring in a run. And the Dodgers are up 8-0, so 3 walks and a single. And let me ask you one more question, Ron, and then we'll let you go. It looks like you're going to have some work here in this inning, but the trade for Giovanni Gallardo, he ends up going to the Texas Rangers. You get some pieces back. One of those pieces is Luis Sardinas, who we're looking at here at the shortstop position. What can you tell us about him?
Well, from what we understand, there's a lot of guys that think this guy can be an everyday player. If he's not, this year or maybe next year, maybe he's a utility man for us, but really good at short, good range, good base stealer, good bunter, but also plays second base, played third base in winter ball this year. So he covers us really well. He's still young. He's 21. He's going to get stronger. They say he squares up the ball nice at the plate, and I think with getting strength the next few years, I think he's got a chance to be a pretty good hitter. So we're pretty excited about it.
Ron, one more question about Ryan Braun and the thumb. How's that been doing so far?
Well, really good so far, and he feels good. His batting practices have been real good, but until we get him out there every day, he gets jammed a few times, and then we'll get a better read on what happens with the thumb.
All right, Ron, doesn't look like the Dodgers are going to give you an out until we take the headsets off you. So thanks for spending a little time with us. And we'll catch up with you periodically through the spring. We appreciate it.
Okay, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Brewers manager Ron Roenicke. Nobody out. First 4 have reached 3 walks and an RBI single. Jock Peterson at the plate, who has 2 hits today and 2 runs scored. A little half swing. Did he go? There's no umpire at third, so Jim Joyce appealing down there, but there's nobody to make that call.
Puig said he didn't go.
Puig with the palms down. No, he checked the swing. Thanks to Ron Roenicke and all the guys, Garza and Lucroy. Appreciate them joining us during the broadcast today. It's good to kind of catch up, get a flow, get a feel for what they're thinking. We're also going to try to hear from Darnell Coles. You heard Ron mention Darnell, who's the new hitting coach this year, replacing Johnny Narin. Johnny has ended up with the Angels this season. And we're going to catch up with Darnell a little bit later in the broadcast. And Ron touched on it briefly, but Darnell's been a guy that has seen some of the greatest offensive players in the big leagues the last couple of years in the Detroit Tigers, and Victor Martinez and Miguel Cabrera, and he brings a lot to the table.
Well, when he was with the Brewers in the minor leagues, you saw a lot of these current Brewers that are on the roster.
There's a good pitch and a strikeout. Cox spins one on the edge to get Peterson at his first out.
Well, lefty versus lefty, and there's that cut fastball that Ron Roenicke was talking about, right on the outside corner to get him.
And Ron's going to make the trip to the mound. We'll have a pitching change here. Cox hitting the pitch limit in his first outing of the spring. So 3 walks, a hit, and a strikeout. And here comes Rob Wooten. We'll take a timeout. We'll set up Rob Wooten when we continue from Maryville. Well, been a struggle today for the Brew Crew. 8-0 our score. The Brewers committing a couple of errors in the second inning. The Dodgers scored 5 runs. Dodgers added 2 in the third on a Guerrero home run, Alex Guerrero, and they've got one on the board here. So Rob Wooten will take over for Neil Kotz. Dependable reliever when healthy. Rob Wooten out of North Carolina. He inherits the bases loaded. And here is Alex Guerrero, who was 2 for 2 after that 2-run home run in the third. Wooten could use a ground ball double play here to get him out of the inning.
Yeah, the sinker ball, that's one of the reasons why Ron Roenicke likes him. 40 games last year with the Brewers. He split time between PCL Nashville and Milwaukee. 40 games last year out of the bullpen for Wooten, and a 472 earned run average.
Wooten ended up closing games in AAA last year. There's a little soft liner, had some funny spin. Jimenez makes the catch. Boy, that batted ball had an unusual look to it.
Right off the end of the bat. Spinning, kind of slicing away from Sardinas, but able to keep a glove on it. Check it out. Started to go in toward the hole and then had to go back up the middle to make the catch.
Sardinas handled that one well. The second out of the inning. So 2 gone, bases still loaded. Here's Kyle Jensen. Jensen with a couple of hits. Both singles, had an infield hit in the second inning, and he swings at the first pitch. Fly ball, left field, glasses on. Chris Davis makes the play to end the inning. So Wooten quickly finishes off the inning and strands the 3 that are out there. However, the Dodgers get another run. They lead 8-0 as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Dodgers lead at 8-0 on our Menards scoreboard. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. And has not been a pretty home opener in the Cactus League for the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll see if they can turn it around. Got a lot of ball game to play here.
It's just nice to be watching baseball, right?
Man, amen to that. And it's been fun to interview some of these guys, get caught up with some of these particulars today during our broadcast. Hope you're enjoying it. It's a beautiful day, soaking up some sun, and we're going to be on the air quite a bit this spring. It's the first of 10 broadcasts that we will produce. Fox Sports Wisconsin. We're also picking up some of our sister station feeds like we did yesterday with our friends from Fox Sports West. So
then there'll be one with the Padres.
Correct. Carlos Gomez will lead off. Urias back on the mound. He was very impressive in his first inning of work. The 18-year-old talent. A couple of strikeouts, 3 up, 3 down inning. Julio Urias facing Carlos Gomez. Interesting discussion with Ron Roenicke about Gomez and where he's going to fit in the batting order. Whether he'll hit leadoff or more in the middle of the order. Roenicke did say 3 and 4 pretty well locked up at this point with Braun and Ramirez. Ramos is a guy that likes to get a lot of at-bats in the spring. Roenicke alluded to that, so we'll see plenty of him. I would imagine there's a little bit of emotion involved in his final spring training for Aramis Ramirez. He says he is retiring after the season.
Had a tremendous career. One of the top offensive third baseman in the game's history, if you look at his numbers.
I was talking to Aramis the other day, and I said, well, what happens if you hit 300 and you hit 30 homers, you drive in 100? He goes, then that'll be a good way to go out.
Good way to go out. Go out on top, right.
He'll certainly have some opportunities to keep playing if he wants to. Quiet presence in the clubhouse.
You always knew that he was a very good offensive player, but what has surprised me about Ramirez, and it probably should, because you never saw him play every day until a couple of years ago, his defense at third base. Very solid defensively.
Ramirez with 17 years in the big leagues. He was 19 when he got called up with the Pirates. Gomez got jammed on that big fastball. A little pop-up out behind the bag. And there is out number 1. 4 in a row. I beg your pardon, 4 out of 5 for Urias.
Molded out a walk. Yeah, the Dodgers still holding the Brewers hitless today.
A couple of their prospects. Zach Lee started, went 2 innings, scoreless, had a strikeout and a walk, and Julio Urias in his 2nd inning, and Ramirez takes a ball away. I tell you, these guys with the big fastballs, especially these young guys who come into camp knowing they want to impress, it's tough on a hitter. Hitters aren't ready to hit velocity this early in the spring.
I mean, anytime. I mean, the way these guys throw the fastball these days, I mean, there are more and more guys thrown in the mid to upper 90s these days than ever before. And you wonder why offense is down. A lot of different reasons, but one of the reasons is these young kids can bring it. They can throw.
There's a good hook by Urias. Misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Aramis Ramirez. Now Ramirez is up front. The fact that he's not an everyday player, meaning he's not going to play at 162 anymore. He hopes to play at 140 this year. So the Brewers are still going to need some answers as a backup at third base.
Got off to a very good start last year. Very good April. Driving a lot of runs. 2 out RBIs.
2-2 on the way. Ramos fouls it back. The Brewers did sign or acquire from the Angels Luis Jimenez, guy that can play third and first. And Roenicke is going to give Sardinas and Hector Gomez a look at third base. We saw a little bit of Hector last year play third base. So he's got some answers over there. It's just honing in on who he wants as his backups right now. Aren't many jobs with the Brewers available.
No. Which is one of the reasons why there was not a whole lot of activity in the offseason. Pretty much all the starters coming back.
Full count to Ramirez. Fouls that one away. Count stays at 3-2. Ramos led the league in doubles a couple of years ago. He's had knee and hamstring problems the last 2 seasons. Back for a 4th year with Milwaukee. That one's in the dirt, and Ramirez draws the walk. So the 2nd walk issued by Urias, and that'll get Chris Davis to the plate. Well, this is the kind of matchup you look forward to. A beautiful day here in Phoenix. Blue skies up above, shining brightly. Razor shines. Brewers are going to face the Dodgers again on Sunday. Here's Chris Davis. And Davis takes a strike. Ramirez has been lifted from the game. Pinch runner has been called upon. Elian Herrera, the former Dodger at first. Imagine Herrera would stay in the game to play third base. 8-0 Dodgers. Home opener of the spring for the Brewers. As far as the Cactus League schedule goes, Milwaukee did play college team on Wednesday. University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Panthers were here. And then yesterday, the Brew Crew in Tempe facing the Angels.
It's a nice road trip for UWM, huh?
Yeah,
Come down to Arizona.
Playing against big leaguers in college.
Nice weather.
You guys ever do that at Clemson? You ever match up against major league teams?
No, we did not. Not when I was there.
Oh, what a thrill. We're going to be back on the air tomorrow. Back on television. Texas Rangers are here. It's a sponsor weekend for the Brewers. Had a big event last night at the Biltmore. Great event. Picnic tomorrow. Herrera's on the move, picked off, and he is out at second base. That'll officially go as a caught stealing.
That's a nice move by Urias. Tremendous. Check it out. Just hangs a leg out there. That's pretty close to a balk. Did he step to first base? I think he did. That's just a good move. So the young man's got a good arm, a good move to first base. I wonder what he can do if he starts getting that breaking pitch over for strikes.
Chris Davis takes a strike. Ball and 2 strikes now on Davis. And you start wondering when the arrival date for a guy like Julio Urias will be. Obviously, he is going to start the year in the minor leagues, but if he gets off to a good start and they have a need, even though he's 18 years of age, you never know if he has the kind of success at the higher level in the minor leagues.
Yeah, he was last year in the Cal League, Rancho Cucamonga. Made 20 starts and a .236 earned run average.
Averaged over 11 strikeouts per 9 innings last year in the Cal League. He just dominated that level. Inside on Davis. Urias does not turn 19 until August, so he'll pitch most of the year as an 18-year-old.
Born in 1996.
Wow, that hurts a little. Man, oh man. Gonna make me start saying things like youngster. 1996.
Wow. Now, if you say that, what am I going to be saying?
Know, well,
you don't even want to say that, do you?
What was your first year in the booth with the Brewers?
95.
95.
Yeah.
Starting year number 21.
First television game ever did was 1995, right down here. It was actually in Chandler. Replacement players. That was the year of the lockout, spring training lockout.
Davis draws the walk.
Did 2 games on TV, me and Jim Paschke.
Well, it was a memorable experience for both of you guys. And you're still here. Paschke's still calling games for the Bucks.
Yeah.
McConaughey on his way out. And that's going to do it for Urias. So the 18-year-old youngster has hit his pitch limit. He showed some good stuff today, though. 2 strikeouts. Had a couple of walks. He'll exit after an inning and 2/3. We'll set up the new pitcher when we continue from Maryvale. 8-0 Dodgers. We play in the bottom of the 4th inning from Maryville. That was Tim Wallach, the acting manager of the split squad team, making the change, and he's gone with his right-hander Yimi Garcia.
Yeah, Garcia, made 8 appearances with the big league team last year, the Dodgers. Albuquerque spent most of the season at AAA, 4-2 and a .310 earned run average for Yimi Garcia, 24 years old, out of the Dominican Republic.
Here's Gerardo Parra. Brewers have a runner at first in Davis. Back-to-back walks by Urias. But Herrera, who was pinch running for Aramis Ramirez, was caught stealing, actually picked off and then thrown out at second. So 2 outs, runner at first. Gerardo Parra takes a strike. Hard throwing Yimi Garcia. Garcia, as Rock mentioned, 24, but he's been in pro ball for 6 years. In the air, Parra sends one to left. Scott Van Slyke coming in, wind's blowing, and he's got it for the out. The inning is over, and 4 in the books here at Maryville. Dodgers lead it 8-0. We head to the 5th. Dodgers lead 8-0. Brewers their home opener in the Cactus League here at Maryville today. Oh man, he's happy, isn't he? He's got a ball, hanging out with mom on a sunny day, falling down. Doesn't even faze him a bit. Great day to be here in Phoenix, Arizona. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. Tomorrow, Brewers Rangers, and we'll have that here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. On the road against the Dodgers on Sunday, and then against the Royals here at Maryville Monday. That'll be a webcast tomorrow. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Now in the original can, it is Miller time. Rob Wooten is back on the mound. He finished off last inning with the final 2 outs, and he deals strike 1 to Darwin Barney. Some changes here. Herrera does stay in the game. He'll play third base. Adam Weisenberger is the new Brewer catcher. And the Brewers make a change in center field as well. Carlos Gomez is out. Matt Long, the former Angel, is in.
Been keeping an eye on the guys in the batter's box today. They've been doing a pretty good job. They have baseball, one of the new rules, you can't leave the batter's box. You have to have 1 foot in.
Sardinas makes a play to retire Barney.
You've been monitoring that today?
You know, I've been checking it out a little bit. I've been fascinated by some of the veteran players over the first few days of games, both in Florida and here in Arizona. The little dancing that's been going on when they realize They need to keep a foot in the in the box.
How about David Ortiz comments a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
He said he's going to run out of money getting fined. He's going to be walking out of the batter's box regardless.
Right.
I guess if you're the big papa, you can say stuff like that.
Well, and this is not it's not a new rule. It's just it's an emphasis on an old rule that they're trying to change the pacing of the players, and that goes for between innings as well. Batter is Corey Seager. His first at bat, hitting for Kike Hernandez. Well, I'm all for it. There's new commissioner Rob Manfred is instituting some changes, and you're trying to quicken up the game around you know, the ball in play, the between innings and between pitches. You have an in-stadium clock that we've been keeping an eye on today, and so that's when you have to be in the box, and they're doing a pretty good job of that. And it's interesting how the discipline is going to go down. So there is a fine system in place. It starts at $500, but all of the fine money goes to the there's the clock, by the way, that operates between innings while we're in commercial, alerting the players, pitchers when to have their warm-ups done, the catcher to throw down to second, and the batter when to be in the box. But all of that fine money is going to go to the Players Association charitable donation arm. So, and they're going to be liberal with it, and everybody is, especially the umpires, trying to instruct the players on how to improve in this category. As Seager draws the walk. I know Ryan Braun had a number of conversations with Jerry Davis yesterday at Tempe. He's like, can I do this? Can I do that?
Right.
So it's going to change up the rhythm of a lot of these guys.
Well, I'm going to be anxious to see how it's going to be enforced. I mean, you have 4 offenses before you get fined. So you get warned 3 times. This is in the course of a game. And then it all starts over the next game.
Chris O'Brien pinch hitting, and he slaps one into the gap in left center. He's on his way to second, and he slides in with a double. After the Seager walk, a double rather, into left center by O'Brien. And it's second and third for the Dodgers with 1 away.
These Dodgers, they come up with the big swings today. They are putting some good swings on the baseball today. A sinker from Wooten that was up in the strike zone. He went right with it into left field. I'll be anxious to see how Troy Tulowitzki handles this whole thing. I mean, he, more than any player in baseball, takes more time between pitches than anybody. But we'll see.
Here's Jeremy Hazelbaker, his first at-bat for the Dodgers, coming up from their minor league camp. He's swinging away at the first pitch.
The other thing I'm anxious to see is now the manager on a replay or the chance of a review does not have to go out on the field and stall for time. It's going to be interesting to see how much pressure that puts on the guys in the dugout or back in the clubhouse, how quickly they can determine whether they want the manager to challenge a call.
Yeah, I think that's a great move. Just seemed like an unnecessary step as Wooten drops a breaking ball in there for a strike.
But what it did was it gave the video replay guys for your particular team time to take a look at it. You wonder how all that's going to be affected.
I think overall replay was a big success last year. They made a few tweaks during the season. Was particularly successful in the postseason. Some big replay calls, and it also pointed out how good these umpires are. You know, there were obviously some calls that were overturned throughout the year, and you wonder how could you miss that, but there's a swing and a miss. Wooten picks up a strikeout on Hazelbaker for the second out. And I think for the most part, you know, those bang plays and the technology that we have now on television, we're able to see things that we've never seen before. While the bang plays are interesting to look at, and you may see some get overturned, you know, it's those obvious calls either down the line or plays at first base. Those are the ones that you want to get right. And these umpires, they want to get them all right. So now they have the backup. Just thinking of replay as that fifth umpire. And I didn't feel like it slowed the game much at all. I mean, there were occasions when it did, but
yeah, some of the replays where the umpires with the headsets on went a little bit too long. Some were almost 3 minutes. Others were much quicker than that. I think baseball still has to address the collision rule and how that's all interpreted and called.
Yeah, that's one that's still out there.
A lot of confusion with that.
Yeah, and remember when they talked about it in the beginning and the changes that were made last year, including the collision rule and replay, they're unfolding a 3-year process to try to tighten it up. I give them a lot of credit. There's a swing and a miss. Kyle Farmer strikes out. And back-to-back Ks after the Dodgers put 2 on. Scoreless inning for Wooten. It's 8-0 Dodgers. Bottom of the 5th. Clock is on. And we welcome you back. Maryville Baseball Park, spring training home of the Milwaukee Brewers. Great day here at the ballpark. Got some folks with the blankets out on the grass berms in the outfield. Well, tomorrow's senior night for the Marquette Golden Eagles. They take on DePaul, trying to sweep that season series. Coverage starts at 1 p.m. Central, only on Fox Sports 2, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Last home game before the Big East tournament at Madison Square Garden next week. It is 8-0 Los Angeles as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Yimi Garcia back on the mound for the Dodgers. Well, it's always great to have the folks from Milwaukee travel here to Maryville. There's a lot of Wisconsinites in the ballpark today on a breezy Friday afternoon.
Best seat in the house out there on the hill. You ever watch the game out there?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's my seat of choice when we're not on the air, Rock. So Matt Clark takes the ball. Yeah, right about there where that guy in the Wisconsin Badger hat. That's kind of, that's where I like to sit.
I know you're joking around, but I, on the other hand,
dead serious. That's my spot right there.
During the sponsor weekend, a lot of times we're not on the air. You get to enjoy the picnic with the sponsors and the investors, and hey, you watch a few innings, and that's exactly where you sit out there in the hill.
Yeah, it's something. You get a little cardboard box, you slide down, and
grab yourself a beverage of choice.
Now there's Rock's seat right there, right under the tee of light.
A little bit closer to where you buy the stuff on that sign.
Matt Clark with a big swing, a high fly ball to right. Jeremy Hazelbaker is the new right fielder. Dodgers have made a ton of changes here. Tweet us if you want to know what they are.
Grab a Miller Lite, sit out there on a nice day, and can't get much better than that.
That's good to be back with you, partner. Our 9th year in the booth, and hopefully the Brewers are going to get themselves in a pennant race once again. Hot ground ball by Peterson out to second base. Darnell Sweeney is the new second baseman.
Yep, opening day on April 6th. The Brewers head back to Milwaukee on the 4th after their last Cactus League game, and the Colorado Rockies in town for opening day at Miller Park.
Well, we're going to be back with a full complement this year. Matt LePay will continue to do some play-by-play. The voice of the Badgers after his run in the tournament with Wisconsin, and Sophia Menard, Telly Hughes.
Badgers have a pretty good chance of going fairly far again this year.
Yeah, Matt could be busy for a while. Let's hope that's the case. Very good team in Madison again this year. Adam Weisenberger batting for the first time. Takes a strike.
I heard you doing the Badgers Purdue game. Was that a few weeks ago? A couple of weeks?
Yep. That was early. That was about a month ago, actually.
Was it? Is that what it was? Time flies.
Is that the only basketball game you watched this offseason?
I watched a few. Watched the Bucks. Bucks are having a good season.
Yeah, they look like they are playoff bound. So as the Brewers season begins and the Bucks get to the stretch run, hopefully they make a playoff run this year. It'll be a great time in the month of April in Milwaukee. Hopefully the snow will be melted by then.
But if it's not, we got the roof. It's supposed to be in the 50s next week.
That's nice. That'll help get things melted. 2 balls and a strike. Weisenberger at the plate, fouls it away.
You really didn't have an off season this year, did you?
Oh, it's good. No, don't need one.
NBA, college, some football.
A lot of fun.
What else?
Got to see some
curling.
Great events. Did a little curling and no curling this year.
Did golf, right?
Yeah. There's a swing and a miss. Weisenberger strikes out.
You're not going to be burned out, are you?
Not at all, man. I couldn't be happier to be where I'm at, right next to you. Well, it is 8-0. Dodger pitching has no-hit the Brewers through the first 5 innings. Dodgers lead 8-0, and they have no-hit the Brewers through the first 5 innings. Los Angeles with a 5-run second. Got a couple of home runs today. A.J. Ellis hit a 3-run homer in the second inning. Alex Guerrero a 2-run shot in the third. Hey, check out the post-game concerts this year. You can go to brewers.com/concerts. Nationally acclaimed artists like Joe Nichols, Moore, and the Goo Goo Dolls all be performing at Miller Park this season. First ever Brewers post-game concert series. It's all presented by Miller Lite. It'll be a lot of fun this year.
That's OAR, isn't it?
OAR. Did I say or?
Well, he spelled it, you know.
I'll just read the card.
That's how it's spelled.
OAR.
The periods are very important after each letter.
Or. Yeah, you know the old or. Not, you know, their local band.
Right.
Mostly performing on the water in Lake Michigan. OAR. Tyler Thornburg is the new pitcher for the Brewers.
Yeah, the Brewers are hoping that Thornburg is back to the form he had early in the season before he got hurt. He was unhittable before he hurt himself, missed the remainder of the season.
Bouncing ball to short. Sardinas makes the play for the out. That's Jason Rogers over there at first base now for the Brewers. So one away. Well, Rogers a guy to keep an eye on this spring as well. He's had some good minor league years. Trying to turn himself into a utility man. Plays third, a little first base, some outfield. That ball's hammered by Schiebler down for a base hit. And he's on his way to second with a double. Dodgers are banging away today. That's their 12th hit already.
Yeah, they're taking some healthy hacks and making some pretty good contact. And these young players, the players that are trying to open up some eyes, I mean, they have a different intensity in these spring training games, even early on. And it's the young guys doing all the damage for this Dodgers team today. That's a good swing from the left side, and it hits a rope.
So Schiebler with a double. Here's Buck Britton now. Now Tyler Thornburg hoping to come back healthy. Be a big part of the Brewers bullpen. Has been. There's discussion too that Thornburg could be stretched out as a starter.
He worked really nice out of the bullpen last year for Ron Roenicke. April, parts of May, unhittable. Throwing strikes, good changeup. And the Brewers very pleased with the way he's come around. He seems to be healthy at this point.
Well, Thornburg is very unorthodox in his delivery. He's not a big guy. He's a terrific athlete. He was a two-way player in college. He was actually an outfielder, a center fielder, as a matter of fact. Keeps himself in great shape. Little jam shot. Sardinas takes a tough hop, and he'll make the play to first for out number 2.
And they say he's a slick fielding shortstop. He's got a pretty decent bat. He was very nicely under control when that bad hop got to him, able to make the adjustment.
Be Cody Bellinger now for the Dodgers. Again, the Dodgers are in a split squad scenario today. Other half of their team is at Candleback Ranch. That's where you find Don Mattingly and company. Tim Wallach running the ball club here today.
When you're ready, you can give me the number. I can do that right now. Good. 70442. And the other one's 9658. They didn't use it. Make sure.
At some point, the Brewers are going to have to find the hit column. Dodgers have unleashed some of their young, talented arms here today. The Brewers have 4 walks, representing their 4 base runners. Bellinger takes a ball down and away from Thornburg.
That young lefty looks good, doesn't he?
Yeah, Urias.
Wow. Pick the guy off. Good fastball, and looks like he's got a good future ahead of him.
Bellinger skies this one. Wynn's got a hold of it. And Herrera is there to make the catch. Boy, that ball moved a lot. That was about over the foul line when it left. Ended up halfway to the dugout. To the bottom of the 6th. See if the Brewers got a hit on them when we come back. Tradition, the famous racing sausages from Clements getting in a big run today. Man, they look pretty good, like they're in mid-season form. Italian with a nice closeout there. Take a look at the Diggers scoreboard. Whatever the tool, whatever the project, know what's below Diggers hotline. Italians flying today.
Yeah.
First official Cactus League Clements famous racing sausage race of the year. Well done. There they are.
An institution.
All right, Rock, we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It is 8-0 Dodgers. The new Dodger pitcher is Chris Reed. 4th pitcher used by Tim Wallach today.
And Chris Reed, born in London, England. How about that? Currently resides in California, 6'4", 195 pounds. Split time between AA and AAA for the Dodgers.
Hector Gomez at the plate for the Brewers. His first at-bat of the day. And that one's in the air, left center. That'll hang up in the air. Schiebler is there to make the catch for out number 1.
You know, he was born in London, England, but grew up 20 miles from Dodger Stadium.
Is that right?
So he wasn't apparently in England very long.
Well, he's pitching for the team he grew up rooting for. That's good good intel there, Rock. You did a little homework before you did it. How did you know Chris Reed was going to be pitching today?
I didn't.
Because he's not on the list.
Just dialing up my player profiles app.
Nice.
I hope it's the right Chris Reed.
Luis Sardinas. This is a guy I think we're all anxious to see this spring. He was part of that trade from the Rangers to the Brewers that involved Giovanni Gallardo. Corey Knebel the other. And the Brewers got another lower level minor league pitcher. But this is one of the guys who the Brewers are very high on. Luis Sardinas out of Venezuela, trying to carry that tradition of talented Venezuelan shortstops. In the air to right for out number 2. 2 up and 2 down.
Brewers have a couple of young infielders that are looking to stick with the ball club, Sardinas and Jimenez, and both of them can pick it. I mentioned Jimenez, a third baseman, first baseman.
Let's go.
Sardinas got some big league time with the Rangers last year. Played third base last season. Had never played third until last year in the big leagues and held his own. Here's Matt Long, another new acquisition by the Brewers from the Angels. Speedy California native. He's another guy in the mix for that 5th outfielder spot for the Brewers. Long was involved in a crowded outfield with the Angels. Just couldn't quite find his way to the big leagues. He's put up terrific numbers in the minor leagues in his career. A little handle shot, pop up to the mound, and a 3-up, 3-down inning. And the Dodgers working on a no-hitter against the Brew Crew today through 6. We go to the 7th inning from Maryville. Cactus League Baseball today. It is 8-0 Los Angeles. Ouch. Check our Hupy and Abraham game summary. It is 8-0. The Dodgers scoring 8 runs on 12 hits. Been a couple of home runs. A.J. Ellis hit a 3-run home run in the 2nd inning. Alex Guerrero with a homer as well. And the Brewers do not have a hit at this point through the first 6 innings. 4 Dodger pitchers. Hupy and Abraham with our game summary. Wisconsin's largest personal injury law firm. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder. Thanks to Mike Vasallo helping us corral some interviews today down in the dugout. Marty Tarr, our producer and director from Maryville. Hobbs Johnson is the new pitcher facing Darnell Sweeney, left-hander on the mound. Great name.
Yeah.
Hobbs Johnson out of Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
Yeah, spent time last year with the Brewers in Brevard County. 25 games, made 24 starts, and an earned run average under 3. So he's throwing strikes, didn't walk many. 105 strikeouts for Johnson and 147 2/3 innings down in the minor leagues.
Played his college ball at UNC. And a heavy workload at North Carolina College World Series team. Just getting his career going. Started in 2013. So this will be his 3rd year as a pro. First big league camp for Hobbs Johnson. Sweeney hammers one to left. That ball is way back there, and it is gone. A home run. Darnell Sweeney goes deep. The 3rd home run of the game for the Dodgers. 9-0 Los Angeles.
Just dropped the head of the bat on that low fastball. Wow. These guys aren't messing around. Check it out. Down and in. Just drops the head of the bat on it and just kind of lines out of here to left field. 3rd home run for Los Angeles today.
Joining A.J. Ellis and Alex Guerrero. Corey Seager fouls one away. So the Dodger kids putting on a show today. I'll tell you, the bottom of the order has been a nightmare for Brewer pitching.
They're killing it, aren't they?
You go 6 through 9 in their batting order. And my unofficial count has 9 hits from that group. Various players after the substitutions.
That's what I have, 9.
9 hits, 2 home runs. 4, 5, 6, 7 runs scored from the last 4 spots in the batting order. So we got that going for us today. Seager fouls it back. Corey Seager, one of the Dodger prospects, brother of Kyle Seager of the Mariners. His older brother was an all-star with the Mariners. Another guy put up big numbers in the minor leagues, getting a chance in big league camp. Corey Seager, 18 home runs last year in Rancho Cucamonga. There's a swing and a miss. Down it goes on strikes.
That's where you want that fastball against left-handed batters, up and in. And able to get the bat head out, check it out. Fastball up, in, and Seager swings right through it.
Got a lot of guys from the Dodgers today that played in Rancho last year in A-ball. You know who is a Rancho Cucamonga alumnus? New Brewers broadcaster Jeff Levering spent some time.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Broadcasting.
Okay. Yeah, he was a broadcaster there. Jeff is on the air for the first time today. O'Brien bounces to short, and there is out number 2. We want to welcome Jeff Levering to the broadcasting family. He is joining Joe Block today over on the Brewers radio. There he is in the light blue shirt. Joe sporting the hat. It's got to be a thrill for Jeff. His first day. Yeah. Well, he was on the air yesterday. He was being interviewed by Bob Uecker. But this is his first day actually on the air, you know, as a play-by-play man.
That's the crew on the radio you're going to see a lot of the times when the Brewers are on the road this year. Bob Uecker taking a good portion of the road schedule off, as he did last year. Jeff is the one with the hair.
It's good to have Jeff joining Joe, and Bob is back in Wisconsin. He's going to be honored at the Vince Lombardi Awards. So an award of excellence. We congratulate Mr. Baseball.
Yeah, the awards just keep piling up for Ueck.
Saw Ueck last night. He's got his big golf tournament coming up here, big charity event on the 16th here in Arizona. He looks great, sounds great, says he's feeling healthy, and we're glad to have Jeff. By the way, one of the interesting additions that Jeff's going to be able to offer is the podcast. And his first entry was last Wednesday, and you can sign up for the podcast, subscribe to it right there on iTunes, and I believe he's going to try to issue that every Wednesday. So he's got all kind of interviews and cool feature this year. First ever Brewers podcast. Maybe you'll make your way on the podcast this season. Hazelbaker shoots one past Sardinas for a base hit.
Now, what is a podcast?
Well,
seriously, I mean,
it's kind of like a broadcast.
Yeah, okay.
That's, you know, digital, available on digital.
How's that different from a webcast?
Well, the webcasts that we do are live games that are on the internet.
Okay.
With commercials.
But you can dial up those at a later date as well, though.
That's true. Right. You can archive them. The podcast is kind of more of a feature-oriented, interview-oriented.
Got it.
Situation. He's going to be talking to players, he's got like an on this day or a throwback. He's going to be doing some analytics discussion. It's really right up your alley, Rock. Very entertaining. You know, you go out for a drive, you drive into work or you drive home, you load it right into your phone and you play it back. And this is perfect. It's like 30 minutes.
Right after a game, what we do, we just listen to more.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's a podcast.
I get it. I seriously didn't know what that was.
Well, you have had a long off season.
I think everybody in the Midwest did. And it's continued. Of course, it's getting better now.
So you play the role of the guy who's not very tech savvy, and yet you've got your iPad out, you've got your iPhone going. I mean, you're with it, man.
And have never actually dialed up a podcast on either one.
Well, why don't you do it right now? Let's see if you can get it done before the inning ends. You literally just go on to Brewers.com and sign up for it. And then every Wednesday it just shows up in your...
What does it cost?
Podcast. Nothing. It's free. There's a walk to Kyle Farmer.
Oh, there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
All right, Hobbs Johnson has given up a home run. He's got 2 outs, now runners at first and second. And here's Travis Witherspoon. I think you're going to really like the idea.
So amongst all the other things that Jeff is going to provide, it's going to be podcasts.
What else is Jeff going to do?
Good for him. Good to have him around. Good guy.
You show you're a Dodger fan?
We might be able to find some work for him as well. Nine 9-0 Dodgers and a big hack by Witherspoon.
I know I have a webcast coming up with Jeff.
Yeah, I've got a webcast with Jeff coming up on Monday. So they kind of split us up on the webcast. I figure
too much of a good thing, right?
Yeah, well, I felt like we were in a pretty good groove on the webcast. Maybe not. The forced play at second. The inning is over. Stretch time at Maryvale. 9-0 Dodgers. Brewers are coming up. Head to the bottom of the 7th.
Well, the news not good for Brewer fans here at Maryvale. 9-0 Dodgers as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. And with the MLB.com ballpark app, you can personalize your trip to Miller Park this season with digital ticket access, concession maps, seat upgrades, exclusive offers, and more. Download the MLB.com ballpark app today, free for your smartphone or tablet.
It works the same way.
God, I get it.
Podcast, apps, all.
I get it. You just have to tell me once.
Did you dial into that podcast yet?
I did not.
Okay. Here we go to the bottom of the 7th. 9-0. There is a story developing here in the hitter-friendly Cactus League. The Brewers are without one. Reed is back on the mound, starts his second inning. Elian Herrera leading off for the Brew Crew, the former Dodger. So it's been Zach Lee with 2 innings, Julio Urias, an inning and 2/3, Yimi Garcia, and now Chris Reed. Not exactly household names yet, but they have held the Brewers hitless through the first 6 innings. Herrera pinch ran for Ramos Ramirez. Is the second official at bat. There's a base hit. So Helion Herrera singles to right. That's what they've been waiting for.
Well, Herrera gets a fastball right down the middle, and a little inside out stroke. And bangs went into right field. Enough of that nonsense. Even in spring training, you don't want to get no hit.
Now we'll see if the Brewers can put some runs on the board. Here's Brian Peterson now, who is in the game as the left fielder for Milwaukee. Not to be confused with Shane Peterson, who started the game in right field for the Brewers. Brewers have had 5 base runners now. Even though they have just the 1 hit, they had 4 walks in this game. Hasn't been a total blitz, but still being shut out. Peterson slashes 1 foul. That's a good catch. Dealing with the shadows, brought his glove, rewarded with a souvenir. That's how you do it.
That one-handed.
Ball and a strike on Peterson. Down in the dirt. Now these guys, they come up from minor league camp or non-roster invitees. These are big innings, big at-bats. Trying to impress while you're here. Trying to make them remember who you are.
Yep, every player remembers when they first appeared in a big league spring training game. Much different intensity for guys like that than guys like Braun and Ramirez. They're just trying to get work in. You're right, these guys take these at-bats and every opportunity they get, whether you're on the mound or at the plate, very seriously. And you try and impress your hitting coach at the big league level, Darnell Coles.
Yeah, that's the Brewers' new hitting coach.
Played against Darnell in my playing career. He was with the Seattle Mariners at the time. He could hit. Longtime Brewers minor league hitting instructor, and most recently Detroit Tigers.
Two and two to Peterson. They're going to try to catch up with Darnell next inning, and there's another base hit. They're coming in bunches now. Back-to-back hits for the Brewers.
And notice both of them opposite field hits. Herrera and now Peterson. And that was a good piece of hitting by the young left-handed hitter. Pulling the hands in and just serving it into left field. That's a beauty. Check it out. Pulls the hands in, pitch down and away, and just hits a bullet into left field.
All right, so a pinch hitter, Nevin Ashley. His first at bat in the spot of Gerardo Parra. Big swing and a foul back.
I'll double check.
Two on, nobody out to start this inning in the 7th. These guys get a chance to play on the big league field, and not to mention the big league meal money. Always a nice bonus. Gonna make it count.
Yeah. Now, minor league camp hasn't started quite yet, has it?
Right.
Another week or so.
This is a great facility for the Brewers. They don't share the facility with anyone, so they have it all to themselves, and a separate minor league facility that the upgrades continue over there. A lot of fields as that one's in the dirt, and both runners are going to advance. Finally something for Brewers fans to cheer about here. Second and third. Herrera and Peterson on the bags for catcher Nevin Ashley, a non-roster invitee. Brewers signed him in January. On the ground, that's going to get a run home. Dodgers will take the out at first, and the shutout is over. It was a tough run today. The Brewers finally get one across the base station here in the 7th. RBI ground out by Nevin Ashley.
Yeah, a couple of opposite field base hits, a wild pitch, and then the ground ball. And kind of things that give you a high five, a little ground out to short, you get yourself an RBI.
Here's Jason Rogers. And he swings away on the first pitch, splintered his bat, and a bouncer to second for out number 2. Peterson ends up at third base. Menguez coming up for the Brewers. How's your scorebook looking over there, partner?
That's clean. Of course, I don't write in the replacements at all. I think you're doing a marvelous job.
You turned it in after the
identifying all the new guys coming in
after the starters.
That's why you get paid the big bucks.
Tell you what, I'm really happy for a lot of these guys. They get a chance to play, and you know it means a lot to them, and we don't want to undermine it.
Oh, absolutely.
But it is rough trying to keep up with the changes.
You look at my scorecard, Matt Clark, Parr, they're still in the game.
That ball's hit hard. And it's going to be caught in left field. Wynn knocked it down. Witherspoon makes the play, and the side is retired. Skunk out of the box, however. Brewers get a couple of hits, and they break up the shutout. Bell Baseball Park, spring training home of the Brewers. 9-1 Dodgers. Brewers finally on the board in the bottom of the 7th. New pitcher is Mike Strong, and we figured we'd wait till the Brewers got a hit before we bring on the new hitting coach. Darnell Coles joins us. Great to have you back in the organization, Darnell. It's good to see you in a Brewers uniform again.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be back.
So were we right in saying that maybe we were going to wait long enough till we got a hit, and then we can bring you on and talk about the good opposite field approach?
Yes, just long enough. Absolutely perfect.
Well, tell us a little bit about coming back, and you've been in Detroit, and you've seen a great powerhouse offense there that you helped coordinate. Tell us what it's been like for you on your way back.
Well, again, you know, in leaving, got a chance to work with some great hitters and a great organization in Detroit. You know, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, Torrey Hunter, Ian Kinsler, and the list goes on and on. But this was an opportunity to come back to an organization that obviously I feel like is home for me. It's just been wonderful, you know, getting an opportunity to get back with the guys and kind of get a feel for watching them from afar, because you're always watching them to see how guys are doing, because a lot of these guys, when I was in the organization early on, I got a chance to work with them as a manager and as a hitting coordinator and enjoyed every minute of it.
Now, Darnell, you take a look at the guys that you work with in the minor leagues. You see them in the big leagues. Do you see the same hitters, or do these guys evolve in the big leagues? And do you have to evolve as a hitter as you get to the major leagues?
Well, I think you do. I think you have to, you know, get a good amount of bats in the minor leagues to kind of get a feel for yourself as a hitter. Jonathan Lucroy is a perfect example of a guy that came through our system, that learned how to hit all the way to the big leagues and got better every year at each stage. And again, obviously, the numbers speak for themselves. He's a tremendous hitter. He's a leader on this ball club. And he's someone that pays attention to detail. He understands how he's being pitched, obviously, because he calls a lot of these pitches to the hitters on the opposing team. So he has a good idea as to what to look for in certain situations. And he's done a tremendous job, and we just want to continue that success. There's a lot of firepower throughout our lineup, and we're just trying to make sure that, you know, the approach is right, that the guys understand that when we get an opportunity to tack on runs, that we do. And when we get opportunities to move guys over, we can do that too, so that the next guy can do his job. But most importantly, get enough runs to allow our starting pitching to relax and settle into games, so that they can get deep in the game, so it doesn't tax your bullpen. And then obviously you get to the back part of our bullpen, which is probably one of the better in baseball.
Do you have a basic hitting philosophy? You know, you have hitting coaches, they focus on different things, and not every hitting coach is the same. Well, what would you say your basic hitting philosophy is?
Well, and I think it's as simple as I can possibly put it, is you're getting in your hitting position to see the ball instead of getting ready to see the ball. You are trying to get in your position so that you're ready to recognize up, down, in or out, because you have a short period of time to get in position to attack. Now, if you're waiting to see the ball to get ready, then you're going to be in trouble, because now you're late. Now you got to clear space for your hands. You got a bunch of breakdown issues that kind of come into play. So you're trying to give yourself every chance to get in the best possible position to lay your A swing out as many times a game as you possibly can, and we've got a great group to do that with.
Visiting with Darnell Coles, the Brewers' new hitting coach this season. And Darnell, as he mentioned, spending time in the Brewers organization, and you've served in a lot of roles. You have managed, you've been a coordinator, you've actually done some broadcasting, and you've seen the game from a lot of different areas. As that ball is hit high in the air to right, going to be plenty deep to score the run here. And the Dodgers will take a 10-1 lead. But Darnell, because you've seen the game from so many angles, and you come back in this role, which is a high-profile role, the hitting coach job is always tumultuous because you're dealing with so many personalities, and the pitching is so good now. How do you approach this job this year from a personal standpoint?
Well, I think that most importantly, we're here to make sure that the players get everything they need to be successful. That's everything from early work, that's preparation, that's getting to the ballpark early. I'm an early get to the ballpark guy that understands that I'm trying to give each guy an opportunity to put himself in the best position to be successful by understanding, in-game adjustments, how you're going to do that. Looking at scouting reports, scouring through things that are going to give us an edge, and understanding that not each guy is going to be pitched the same. So you got to understand yourself as a hitter. You got to understand what they're trying to do, and you got to be willing to make the adjustments necessary to be successful. Now, again, you watch the two teams that were in the World Series, the San Francisco Giants and the Kansas City Royals. They weren't the best at hitting home runs or getting guys over, because I think both of them are in the middle of the pack, but they understood how to win at the right times. You get guys over so the next guy can do his job, and I think that throughout baseball, that's a lost art. I think this is a team that can do all that. I think that I feel like we're a team that's got a tremendous opportunity to be successful, based on knowing each other, based on playing for the guy next to you, based on understanding exactly what Ron wants daily, so that we can win that game that day and move from there. But I think each game is as important in April as it is in September, but we're looking forward to playing deep into games into October. So in order for us to do that, we got to do the little things, and Ron stressed those daily about us doing the little things and making sure that we put ourselves in the best possible position to win today's game and worry about tomorrow.
Well, the Brewers are extremely advanced in the analytical side of things, the analytics. How do you utilize analytics with the hitting approach, and how do you split that between the information you're giving to players and what you're just using as either a teaching tool or an evaluation tool?
Well, I think the evaluation part of it is what it is, and you got to understand each guy and try to do the best you can under the circumstances.
Darnell, it's great to have you with us. You guys finally got a hit and a run. We're happy for you, man.
Thank you. I'm happy to be back, and I'm glad you guys waited to the 8th inning.
Darnell Coles, I guess. Bottom of the 8th inning. Brewers spring training home opener at Maryville, and the Dodgers spoiling the party just a little bit, as it is 10-1. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with the Boys and Girls Club of America. Boys and Girls Clubs help young people reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens through programs that promote character and leadership, education, healthy lifestyles, and more. For more information, visit foxsportsupports.com. Great to have you with us today. Off and running on our spring training telecast schedule. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder. And thanks to all of our dugout guests today. Always fun to catch up with those guys, and we appreciate their time. We heard from Matt Garza today, and Jonathan Lucroy, Ron Roenicke, and Darnell Coles. Mike Thomas is the new pitcher for the Dodgers, coming up from minor league camp. You start seeing guys wearing numbers in the 90s with no last names. You're getting into some of the extras, the just-in-case players. There's a nice play at first base.
Yes, it was.
Cody Bellinger with a beautiful diving stop on the first out of the inning.
Nice feed over to first base. I went up to Darnell, during batting practice today, and Darnell and I played against each other. And he was a member of the Seattle Mariners. As you take a look at a nice play over there at first base and a good cover by Thomas. But I always, go up to the hitting coach. I did the same thing with Johnny Nairn and every hitting coach that has been with the Brewers, and said, look, I hope you don't mind that you come up to the batting cage each and every day and talk a little bit about the pitcher you're going to face today.
And what was his response?
And he said, no problem, anytime.
Nice.
Just got to understand, go up there and talk about Adam Wainwright and the guys we're going to be facing, and get your take on what these guys have been doing. And I told him, I promise I won't be giving away your secrets.
Yadiel Rivera, his first at-bat of the day. It would be good to have Darnell. And he's seen a lot. He played 14 years in the big leagues. A lot of different teams. I think he played for 7 different ball clubs, 8 different teams, actually. Mostly in the American League, mostly with the Mariners. So he's been a good fit here, and of course that familiarity with the organization matters a great deal to the Brewers. Yeah. Mike Guerrero will be helping him out as well. John Shelby, part of the coaching staff once again.
And Mike Guerrero is going to be the first base coach this year and infield instructor.
Now Mike Guerrero and Eddie Cedar, the base coaches again. Ed continues as the third base coach. Best profile in the big leagues. And Eddie is in charge of running spring training as well. He's the camp coordinator. That's a big job. The unmistakable profile.
Eddie very proud of the new helmets that the coaches have this year.
Yeah. New as in just out of the wrapper new, or a new style?
Better protected.
Oh, okay. Well, ground ball to third. Rivera is out on a 5-3 put out. 2 away in the inning. Well, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. This might not be one you would want to reproduce. 10-1 in favor of the Dodgers. Matt Garza started today's game. Gave up 5 runs, only one of those earned. There was a couple of errors in a 5-run inning in the second inning. Garza had good command. He threw 39 pitches, 27 strikes. Threw first pitch strikes to 8 out of 12 hitters. Sardinas grounds out, and a 1-2-3 inning. That'll take us to the 9th. Dodgers are coming up. 10-1 Los Angeles. Cactus League Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Dodgers lead 10-1. We head to the top of the 9th. Got a couple of changes here. Yadiel Rivera will stay into play second. Parker Berberet will catch, and a familiar face is on the mound, Rock. Wei-Chung Wong.
Yeah, the Rule 5 selection for the Brewers in the offseason a year ago from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Didn't get a whole lot of opportunities to pitch, ended up getting hurt, and here he is back in 2015.
That one broke too?
Wong will head to the minor leagues this year to become a starting pitcher. Brewers used him sparingly out of the bullpen last year. They are very high on Wong and his potential. Had to keep him in the major leagues last season because of the Rule 5 rules. If they sent him down last year, they would have had to have offered him back to the Pirates a season ago. So they were able to clear him for the year. Now he's part of the organization, and he can continue his development as he deals a strike to Chris O'Brien. 10-1 Dodgers. We're in the 9th inning. Brewers did not record a hit until the 7th, and scored a run in the 7th, the lone run. Evan Ashley with an RBI ground out, the only tally of the day. We've seen Matt Garza pitch today. Tyler Cravey, Neil Kotz, Rob Wooten. On the ground to third base, Herrera makes a play for the first out of the inning. Joey Curletta will bat now for the Dodgers. Well, do it again tomorrow, partner. We got the Texas Rangers coming here to Maryvale. Rangers finally have Prince Fielder back and healthy after
neck surgery.
Missed a significant portion of the season last season. We see our old buddy Mike Maddox, the pitching coach. They got a new manager with the Rangers, Jeff Bannister, running the show there. Remember Steve Buechele?
Oh, yeah.
Steve Buechele is going to be part of their coaching staff.
Got the sponsor picnic tomorrow. So load up. You don't have to buy your lunch tomorrow.
Nice. About time. Don't like getting into that per diem this early in the game, you know. Ball and 2 strikes. Joey Curletta at the plate. Well, the Brewers are going to send Willie Peralta to the mound tomorrow. Loesch yesterday, Garza today, Peralta tomorrow. Mike Fiers will get the ball Sunday. Good news on Jimmy Nelson. So he's throwing and should be ready to go on Monday. Wong misses, a little bit low. Look at there, Gene Segura. He'll be in the lineup, they said. There's Willie Peralta, admiring his own bobblehead.
Yeah, that's a pretty well-balanced starting rotation for the Brewers when you think about it. Of course, they don't have a left-hander.
As a strike called. Down goes Curletta. Second out of the inning, first K for Wong.
Yeah, Brewers with a couple of flamethrowers. They got a couple of finesse guys. And hey, Brewer fans, when you go online to purchase your tickets for our May 10th game, take an opportunity to support Brewers Community Foundation. Making a contribution to the Brewers Community Foundation online when buying your tickets will support the Wisconsin Humane Society. Hank and all of his friends will appreciate your support. This is where it all began for Hank.
Right. Yep. What a difference a year makes.
Yeah.
The dog of the year.
Officially.
Yeah, officially and in everybody's hearts. Kyle Farmer fouls it away. Yeah, the Brewers got good news. Jimmy Nelson was able to pitch and been dealing with a hamstring problem, so just a minor setback. And Brewers don't have a whole lot of depth in their starting rotation. Very good in their rotation, but not a lot of depth, so that's good news for Nelson. Oh, dropped. Another pop-up is dropped. Yadiel Rivera. Carlos Gomez dropped one earlier today. And now Rivera, which extends the inning here in the 9th inning. That'll be an E4.
Yeah, unfortunately, because the right fielder coming in, he could have gotten it, but called off. Never got a glove on it, but it will be an error.
Wow, you're right.
Whiffed it.
I said dropped. That he didn't even touch it.
Yeah, he whiffed it, yeah.
Okay. 3rd error of the day for the Brew Crew. Outside of the 75-degree weather and, of course, your company today, Rock, this has not been the best of lid lifters for our broadcast coverage.
Yeah, you would have liked the outcome to be a little bit different, but just sitting here doing the game and watching baseball and without a parka on is nice.
Rivera makes a nice play here. Little redemption to end the inning. And we head to the bottom of the 9th. Brewers need 9 to tie. Might as well get 10. They're down 10-1. Now coming to the end here, day 1 here at Maryville of the spring training schedule. And the Brewers in danger of dropping to 0-2. They're down 10-1 to the Dodgers. Take a look at the Columbia St. Mary's game summary. Columbia St. Mary's, a passion for patient care.
Yep, it was over early here at the ballpark today. Yep. 3 home runs for the Dodgers.
Dodgers got home runs from A.J. Ellis. That was part of a 5-run second inning. Alex Guerrero and Darnell Sweeney homer. Matt Long at the plate for the Brewers. Guy to track a little bit this spring, trying to open up some eyes, coming over from the Angels organization. But a lot like the Angels, the Brewers have a pretty crowded outfield as well. Steve Smith on the mound for Los Angeles.
I've heard it before. So is he.
John Lester pitched today for the Cubs. They drew 15,000 over their ballpark. As Long bounces out.
New ballpark for the Cubs, 2nd year.
Yeah, the A's are in the Cubs' old stomping grounds in Hohokam after they had some renovations last year. Cubs are going to be fun to watch. The division is going to be very good once again. National League Central. Cardinals, Pirates, Cubs, Reds. Brewers are hoping to make a run at it once again after leading the division for 150 days. One that got away last year.
Yep. Yeah, the Bats just went silent in the month of September. Pitching was very good. Starting pitching excellent in September. But
Elian Herrera bouncing to first. 2-men are out here in the ninth.
I think that's what Ron Roenicke was talking about when he was talking about some of the things from last year that has spilled over to this year as far as an approach and something they want to work on, and maybe a little bit too aggressive as they got down the stretch and just not able to score enough runs. But that was last year.
That little kid, he's had a lot of fun today. Little liner to right, and it's going to be caught in right field. What a great catch. Joe Curletta ends the game with a diving catch in right field. Beautiful play, and that will do it. The Dodgers win it in a split squad with a lot of their minor league players by a final of 10-1. They hit 3 home runs. And Ron Roenicke's Brewers go to 0-2 on the Cactus League schedule. Heck of a play to end the ball game today. The Tim Wallach-led Dodgers get the victory, 10-1. We'll be back with some final thoughts after this.